Is Phuket still a digital nomad and holidaymaker's paradise in 2025? I've visited Phuket every year for the last 4 years, either on holiday or more recently as a digital nomad. And in that time, I've seen a lot of things change, and they almost change every single year. So in this video, I'll share with you my honest opinion, whether I think the place is overhyped, whether tourism has taken over and ruined the place, whether I still think it's a viable travel option for both holidaymakers and digital nomads in 2025, what's changed for good, and what has definitely changed for bad, some of the prices of things, and much more. So if you're planning a trip here, stay tuned, this video is for you. Something that has definitely changed this year, has changed last year, has changed every year, is the construction going on and building. All the time right now, there's things going up. And for example, I was last here about 10 months ago, and in that time, there's a lot more buildings gone up, there's a lot of construction started. And even if you look over here, there is building going on right now. I don't know what's going on. Maybe they're just reinforcing the hillside to build a hotel of some sort. I'm not sure, but that is a common theme all around Phuket. There's going to be more building going on, and outside of my condo at the minute, there's building going on too. So now I'm going to talk about some of the costs this year and the differences that I've noticed, if there are any, from last year and previous years. And I'll break down a few costs of things, and also give you some of what I think are the pros to Phuket in 2025 and some of the cons as well. But before that, how nice is this? This is down at Rawai Beach in the south of Phuket, and there's never anyone on here because it's not really a swimming beach. It's more of like a beach where you start your longtail boat tour or trip and you'll go off to one of the islands. But I'm certain if they did not have all the boats here, this would be a like 10 out of 10 beach. Like, the water's super clear even today, even in the low season. The water's super clear, and it's quite shallow, quite far out. But I guess because the boat's here, nobody comes down here. So let's talk costs. So first things first, when I arrived at the airport this year, I was already equipped and ready to go. I downloaded Bolt and Grab, which are two of the apps that are effectively like Uber here in Asia. And usually it's cheaper on Grab or Bolt than it is to just order a taxi through the airport, but it wasn't this time. It's 1,000 baht to get from the airport all the way down to Rawai, the furthest south you can get in Phuket. So the furthest distance from the airport, and that was 1,000 Thai baht, or around 22 English pounds or 30 US dollars. In terms of cost of food, I actually haven't noticed that big of an increase at all this year. Smoothies, 50 baht for a big mixed fruit fresh smoothie, and that was just up the road from here, right in front of the beach in a very popular area. My scooter rental for a month cost me 120 pounds, which is somewhere in the region of 150 to 160 US dollars. That's the exact same price I paid last year. And yeah, you can get much cheaper than that. You could probably get it down to 80 to 90 pounds or $100 just over. But the bike is pretty much brand new. It's a 155cc, super comfortable, and it's a decent bike. For that price, I'm not complaining at all. I would say over the past 12 months, the only thing that's significantly increased is the actual accommodation costs. I think there's more demand than there ever has been, and people are staying for longer than they ever have been. There's a big Russian community here now that are living full-time. I think all of them things have impacted property price for sure. But apart from the accommodation, I've not noticed any massive increases in cost. So let's talk some of the things that are good, some of the things not so good, some of the pros, some of the cons. So the price here is definitely increasing yearly. Even though the things that I just mentioned, I haven't noticed a massive increase or any increase at all since last year, the price of accommodation is 100% going up. The places I looked at last year were around maybe £600, and there was a few options. This year, I did get one for £600, which is 800 US dollars for the month. And it's a nice one-bed apartment, but we're in the low season. It was a new listing, and the actual available options that I could find for comparable properties had gone up, I'd say, by about 15 to 20%. So that's definitely a con. Now, in terms of the traffic, I'll put this in the pro and con because, yeah, it's not ideal, but it's no worse than what it has been in previous years. Whereas I think most places you go to nowadays that are popular with tourists, you'll find that over time, the traffic gets worse and worse and worse, and they don't have the infrastructure for it. There can be a lot of congestion, particularly if you're in the Patong area or if you are going during rush hour. But overall, the traffic doesn't seem too bad, actually. And it is the low season, so the traffic is going to be a little bit less. But I was here in the low season last year, and the traffic is not as bad as what I would say last year is, to be honest. Now, I would probably argue that the biggest con on this list is this one. It feels harder to meet people. It was a little bit more difficult last year than it was in previous years, but this year I 100% think the same. Look, if you're going to the gym and you're training in a class, I think that is probably going to be one of the best and easiest ways to meet people. Why is it harder to meet people this year than previous years? I could only speculate, but some of the reasons I think: there's a huge community of Russians that are living here long term now. They've got established circles. There's a language barrier. They might be a little bit more reserved than some other nationalities, or even Thais. Maybe it's that. I don't know. I'm only speculating. I think a really good example and something that highlights that I think the dynamic of the people that come into Phuket have changed a little bit. This is the car park downstairs in my condo, and it's full right now. And at other times in the day, it literally is packed out. So there must be plenty of people here, if not at near full capacity. And you just don't see anyone. There's no one up at the pool, really, or there's very few people up at the pool. And I think everyone must be here working remotely or living here long term. And there will be exceptions to this. If you're here on holiday in Kata, Karon, Patong, and you're going to bars, you're drinking, and you're in the holiday circle, in the holiday vibe, you're coming as a couple, of course you'll meet people. It's easy to meet people when you're drinking, when you're partying. But if you're just coming here to work remotely or to train, outside of the gym, I've felt it's a little bit harder to meet people than previous times. I have still met a few people. Don't let it put you off. I'm not saying it's impossible. There are plenty of people here on a similar page, working remotely, training, passing through, that don't necessarily want to be out all the time partying, but it's just less of them, or it's harder to meet people than what I've found in previous years. This little cafe, Soul Kitchen, looks new. I didn't notice it last year. I didn't notice it the previous years. Maybe it was here, but either way, there's a lot of new cafes popping up. There's a lot of new restaurants popping up. There's a lot of new gyms popping up. There's a lot of new everything popping up. There's tons of construction going on pretty much all the time. And is that a pro? Is it a con? Well, I look at it like this. If they're building something you like, it's going to be a pro. If they're building something you don't like, it's going to be a con. But at times, if you are working, and in my condo, they're doing some work upstairs and they're building outside, the noise has been tolerable, if not non-existent most of the time, but at certain times has been a bit noisy, has been a bit annoying. And if I was on a work call or doing some filming, which I actually have been, it is a bit frustrating when you are looking for a little bit of quiet and all you can hear is knocking, banging or drilling. The other part to this isn't, again, exclusive to 2025. Phuket is not the authentic Thai experience. It doesn't feel like normal Thailand here. You'll get some of the things that you will associate with Thailand, and if you're only coming for a holiday, I think it's perfect. Phuket is not the traditional Thai experience by any means, but it's still a great place. It's still great for holidays, it's still great for traveling, passing through. It's great for training, it's great for being a digital nomad, but it's a bit more expensive. It's a bit less authentic, a bit less like a feeling of Thailand, and at times you can feel like people just see you as money signs and they view you as a potential customer, which you are. There's a reason why I keep coming back. I don't come back to explore and do lots of cultural or traditional things. I just come here to train, to see some friends, and still, the island has some of the most beautiful beaches. It has tons to choose from in terms of restaurants and places to go, things to do. There's so much to do here. So Phuket being geared towards tourism, for me, isn't such a bad thing as long as you know that before coming. And another thing to bear in mind is there are stop checks around the island. It's not ideal getting pulled over when you've seemingly done nothing, but if you have your international driving permit with you and you're permitted to ride a bike on your own license and you're wearing your helmet, you'll be sound, there'll be no issues. Very, very rarely you hear of someone getting fined for seemingly nothing and them just trying to find an issue. But I've never had that. The only 2 times I've ever been fined in Thailand, and I've been pulled over 10, 15 plus times over the years, have been because I haven't been wearing a helmet. Perfect example of this is just a couple of days ago, I got pulled over near Patong. I showed them my international driving permit. I was wearing my helmet and I got allowed and got sent on my way. And also they were pretty friendly as well. But the police presence here is a lot more obvious than most other parts of Thailand, to be honest. You are more likely to get pulled over in Phuket than anywhere else, and you're more likely to get fined here than anywhere else. And recently they've brought in a new law, if you can call it that, where if you don't have a helmet on, it's a 2,000 baht fine. So that's probably double at least what you would previously be paying, maybe 3 or 4 times. Either dodge the checks or put your helmet on, or pay 2,000 baht. Don't shoot the messenger. So guys, there's a reason I keep coming back to Phuket every single year. I love the place. I think it's great. Do I think that it's a place for everyone? Probably not. But if you're coming here just for a short trip, you know what you get in. You're coming to train. You're hoping to meet maybe some foreigners. You are aware that it's a more expensive place. You want to do some island hopping or some trips. You want to have the nightlife. It's a quality option. Don't let this video or anything else put you off. It's just worth noting these things if you do come or are planning a trip. Maybe there's a better place suited for you. Maybe you skip Phuket, or maybe you're appealed to it and want to come here because of all the reasons I've mentioned. If you've been this year or if you've been last year, let me know. Has anything changed? Is it different to what you expect? Has anything surprised you in this video? Maybe the price. If you've been or planning a trip, I'll be keen to hear what you think in the comments or get your experience. Guys, as always, I appreciate you tuning in. Catch you in the next one. Peace.